There's something that happens in the quiet moments of the night. You close your eyes, trying to sleep, but your mind has other plans. Suddenly, memories from your past begin playing like an endless movie in your head. Maybe you remembered a mistake you made years ago. Maybe you thought about someone who hurt you. Maybe you replayed a conversation where you said the wrong thing, or remembered an opportunity you let slip away. And as these thoughts circled in your head, you felt that familiar weight in your chest. That heaviness that whispers, if only I could go back, if only I could change what happened. We've all been there. Every single person watching this video has wrestled with their past. Some people try to hide from it. Others talk about it endlessly. Some lock it away in the deepest corners of their hearts. But here's the truth that most people never realize. Your past doesn't have to be a prison. Today, we're going on a journey together, a journey from pain to peace, from regret to hope, from yesterday to tomorrow. If you're tired of carrying the weight of what was, if you're ready to learn how to let go and move forward, then stay with me. Because what I'm about to share with you has the power to change everything. The invisible backpack. Picture this. You wake up every morning and put on an invisible backpack. At first, when you were young, this backpack was light. Maybe it contained just a few small disappointments or minor embarrassments. But as you've grown older, you've been adding more and more to this pack. Every mistake becomes a heavy stone. Every failure becomes a brick. Every harsh word spoken to you becomes a weight you carry. Every opportunity you missed becomes another burden on your shoulders. Day after day, year after year, you've been loading this backpack with the remnants of your past. Now imagine trying to run a race while carrying this massive weight. Imagine trying to reach for your dreams while your shoulders are bent forward from all you're carrying. Imagine trying to embrace new opportunities while your hands are busy, holding on to old pain. This is how most people live their entire lives. They carry their past everywhere they go. To work, to new relationships, to family gatherings, even to bed at night. No wonder they feel exhausted. No wonder they feel stuck. No wonder life feels harder than it should be. But here's what I want you to understand. That backpack isn't locked onto your shoulders. You can take it off. You can unload those stones. You can walk free. The question isn't whether you can let go. It's whether you're ready to make that choice. Think about the weight you're carrying right now. What stones are in your backpack? Is it guilt over something you did? Anger towards someone who hurt you? Regret over a path you didn't take? These weights aren't serving you. They're not making you stronger or wiser. They're just making your journey harder. When you recognize what you're carrying, you take the first step toward freedom. Because awareness is the beginning of change, you can't drop what you don't acknowledge you're holding. For example, imagine Sarah, a 35-year-old teacher who struggled with perfectionism. Every mistake at work sent her into days of self-criticism. She carried stones of childhood criticism from a demanding parent who never seemed satisfied with her achievements. Once Sarah recognized she was carrying her father's voice in her head, judging every imperfection, she could finally begin to put down that particular stone. Action step. Take a moment right now to write down 3 stones you're carrying in your invisible backpack. Maybe it's guilt over a relationship that ended badly. Maybe it's shame about a financial mistake you made years ago. Maybe it's resentment towards someone who didn't support you when you needed them. Be specific. Name these stones clearly because you can only release what you're willing to acknowledge. The trap of if only. There are 2 words that have destroyed more dreams and stolen more joy than almost anything else in human language. Two seemingly innocent words that create one of the most dangerous mental traps. If only. If only I had studied harder, I would have a better job. If only I had been braver, I would have told them how I felt. If only I had taken that opportunity, my life would be different. These thoughts feel almost comforting at first. They let you imagine a different version of your life, a better story, a happier ending. But that comfort is an illusion because every moment you spend in if only is a moment stolen from what now. Here's the brutal truth about if only thinking. It's a prison disguised as a palace. You think you're exploring possibilities, but you're actually trapped in a maze with no exit. You can walk through that maze for hours, days, even years, but you'll always end up back where you started, in the present moment, with the same life you're trying to escape. The real danger of if only is that while you're lost in regret, life keeps moving, opportunities appear and disappear. People come and go, time passes, and you miss it all because your eyes are fixed on yesterday. But there's a way out of this trap. Every time you catch yourself saying, if only, stop. Take a breath, then ask yourself a different question. What can I do now? Instead of, if only I had learned a new skill years ago, ask, what skill can I start learning today? Instead of, if only I had been kinder to that person, ask, how can I be kinder to the people in my life now? Instead of, if only I had saved more money, ask, how can I start building better financial habits today? This simple shift from if only to what now changes everything. If only makes you weak and powerless. What now makes you strong and capable. If only keeps you stuck. What now sets you free. The past is gone. You can't change it, rewrite it, or live it differently, but the future is still unwritten, and what now is the pen in your hand. Pain as your teacher. Pain has a terrible reputation. We run from it, hide from it, try to numb it with distractions or substances. But pain isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. And like any good teacher, it has lessons that can transform your life if you're brave enough to listen. Every wound carries wisdom. Every failure contains instruction. Every disappointment holds a message about what you truly value. The question isn't whether you'll experience pain. That's inevitable. The question is whether you'll learn from it. When someone breaks your heart, pain teaches you about trust, boundaries, and self-worth. When you fail at something important, pain teaches you about preparation, persistence, and humility. When you lose someone you love, pain teaches you about gratitude, presence, and the preciousness of time. But here's the key. The lesson only comes when you stop running and start asking the right question. Instead of, why did this happen to me? Ask, what is this trying to teach me? This shift in perspective doesn't minimize your pain or make it disappear, but it transforms your relationship with that pain. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become a student of life. You stop wasting your suffering and start using it to grow. Think about the most difficult experience of your life. I know it hurts to remember it, but what did it teach you? How did it change you? What strengths did you discover in yourself that you didn't know existed? What values became clearer to you? That difficult experience wasn't just something that happened to you, it was something that happened for you. It was life's way of preparing you for what comes next. It was your teacher disguised as your tormentor. When you can see your pain as education rather than punishment, you graduate from suffering and move into wisdom. You stop being defined by what hurt you and start being refined by what you learned. Forgiving yourself. Of all the people you'll encounter in your lifetime, there's one who will judge you more harshly than anyone else. One who will remember every mistake, replay every failure, and remind you of every shortcoming. That person is you. We are our own harshest critics. We speak to ourselves with a cruelty we would never show a friend. We hold ourselves to impossible standards and punish ourselves when we inevitably fall short. We become both the prisoner and the guard of our own mental jail. But self-forgiveness isn't about pretending your mistakes didn't happen or making excuses for poor choices. It's about recognizing a fundamental truth. You are human. You were not born with perfect knowledge or flawless judgment. You were born to learn, to grow, to make mistakes, and try again. Every decision you made with the information and emotional capacity you had at that moment. Could you have done better if you knew then what you know now? Of course, but you didn't know then what you know now. That's exactly why it's called learning. Self-forgiveness starts with a simple but powerful statement. I did the best I could with what I knew at the time. Now I know better, so I will do better. This isn't about lowering your standards or avoiding responsibility. It's about treating yourself with the same compassion you would show a friend who made the same mistake. It's about recognizing that punishing yourself doesn't change the past. It only poisons the present. When you forgive yourself, something beautiful happens. The energy you were using to carry guilt gets freed up. The mental space occupied by self-criticism becomes available for creativity and growth. The heart that was closed by shame opens to possibility. You stop walking through life bent over by the weight of your mistakes and start standing tall, ready to face whatever comes next. You stop being haunted by who you were and start being excited about who you're becoming. Remember, forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's choosing not to let the past control your future. It's deciding that you are more than the worst thing you've ever done. Choosing to move forward. Here's something most people don't understand about anger and resentment. They're not punishing the people who hurt you, they're punishing you. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. But moving forward doesn't always mean forgiveness. Let me be clear about this because it's important. You don't have to forgive everyone who hurt you. Forgiveness is a personal choice, and it's not always the right choice for every situation. What you do have to do is choose not to let those who hurt you continue controlling your life. You have to decide that your peace of mind is more important than your right to be angry. You have to choose your future over your past. Sometimes that choice looks like forgiveness, releasing resentment, and wishing the person well. Sometimes it looks like boundaries, cutting toxic people out of your life and protecting yourself from further harm. Sometimes it looks like justice, taking appropriate action to ensure accountability. But in all cases, it looks like this: refusing to let someone else's actions determine your emotional state. Refusing to give them the power to steal your joy, your peace, or your progress. The person who hurt you may never apologize. They may never understand the pain they caused. They may never face consequences for their actions. You can't control any of that, but you can control whether you let their actions continue to hurt you. Moving forward is about reclaiming your power. It's about saying, what you did to me was wrong, but I won't let it define me. I won't let it limit me. I won't let it destroy me. I am choosing to be bigger than what happened to me. This choice isn't easy, and it doesn't happen overnight. Some days you'll feel strong and free. other days, the old anger will creep back in. That's normal. Healing isn't linear, but every time you choose your peace over your pain, you get a little bit stronger. Every time you choose your future over your past, you move a little bit closer to freedom. The goal isn't to pretend the hurt never happened. The goal is to make sure the hurt doesn't happen again, not because someone else stops hurting you, but because you stop letting their actions hurt you. The rear-view mirror principle. When you're driving a car, you have a large windshield in front of you and a small rear-view mirror behind you. Have you ever wondered why the windshield is so big and the mirror is so small? It's because where you're going is more important than where you've been. Life works the same way. Your future should get most of your attention, your dreams, your goals, your possibilities. Your past should only get occasional glances, just enough to learn from it and avoid repeating mistakes. But most people live their lives backwards. They spend most of their mental energy staring into the rearview mirror of their past, only occasionally glancing at the windshield of their future. They know every detail of what went wrong yesterday but can't clearly see the opportunities available today. When you drive while staring in the rearview mirror, you crash. When you live while obsessing over your past, you miss your present and ruin your future. This doesn't mean you should never look back. The rearview mirror is important. It helps you stay aware and avoid danger, but it's meant for quick glances, not long stares. You check it, learn what you need to learn, then turn your attention back to where you're going. Your past is a reference, not a residence. It's a lesson, not a life sentence. It's something that happened to you, not something that defines you. The question isn't whether you have a past worth regretting. We all do. The question is whether you're going to let that past determine your future. Are you going to keep staring in the rearview mirror, or are you going to focus on the open road ahead? Your windshield is clear and wide because your future is full of possibility. Your rearview mirror is small because your past, no matter how painful, is just a fraction of your whole story. The best chapters are still being written. So, take a quick look back if you need to. Learn the lesson, then turn your eyes forward and keep driving. Your destination is ahead of you, not behind you. Building your new future. When you let go of the past, you create empty space in your heart and mind. This space must be filled, or your thoughts will naturally drift back to old memories and painful experiences. The key to lasting change is not just releasing what was, but building what will be. Your new future starts with a vision. What kind of life do you want to create? What kind of person do you want to become? What experiences do you want to have? What relationships do you want to build? What contributions do you want to make? This isn't about creating a perfect plan for your entire life. It's about giving yourself direction and purpose. When you know where you're going, every step becomes meaningful. When you have goals to pursue, past regrets lose their power to distract you. But vision alone isn't enough. Dreams without action remain dreams. The future is built through daily choices, small, consistent actions that compound over time into significant results. If you want to be healthier, start with a 10-minute walk today. If you want to be more educated, read one page of a good book. If you want better relationships, make one phone call to someone you care about. If you want financial freedom, save $1. These actions seem small, almost insignificant, but they're not. They're the building blocks of transformation. Each positive choice creates momentum. Each good habit makes the next good habit easier. Each step forward increases your confidence and strengthens your belief in what's possible. The beautiful thing about building a new future is that it doesn't require you to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers or make all the right choices. You just need to consistently choose growth over stagnation, progress over perfection, and forward over backward. Every day you work on your future is a day you're not imprisoned by your past. Every goal you pursue is a declaration that your best days are ahead of you. Every dream you chase is proof that you believe in your ability to create something better. Your past gave you experience. Your present gives you opportunity. Your future gives you hope. Focus on what you're building, not what you're leaving behind. Rewriting your story. The story you tell yourself about your life becomes your reality. If you see yourself as a victim of circumstances, you'll live like a victim. If you see yourself as a survivor who overcame adversity, you'll live with strength and resilience. The facts of your past can't be changed, but the meaning you assign to those facts is entirely up to you. You can choose to frame your difficult experiences as evidence of life's unfairness or as proof of your ability to endure and grow. This isn't about lying to yourself or pretending bad things didn't happen. It's about choosing which aspects of your story to emphasize. Every experience has multiple dimensions: the pain and the lesson, the loss and the growth, the ending and the new beginning. Instead of telling the story of how someone broke your heart, tell the story of how you learned to love yourself. Instead of focusing on the job you lost, celebrate the strength you found. Instead of dwelling on the opportunity you missed, highlight the wisdom you gained. When you change your story, you change your identity. When you change your identity, you change your possibilities. When you change your possibilities, you change your life. This process takes time and practice. You've been telling yourself the old story for years, maybe decades. It won't change overnight. But every time you consciously choose to frame your experiences in terms of growth rather than damage, resilience rather than victimhood, and hope rather than despair, you rewrite a little more of your narrative. Eventually, the new story becomes your default. Instead of seeing yourself as someone things happened to, you see yourself as someone who makes things happen. Instead of feeling powerless, you feel capable. Instead of being defined by your worst moments, you're inspired by your strongest ones. Your story is still being written. The chapters that came before have shaped you, but they don't have to confine you. You hold the pen. You choose what comes next. Action step. Write 2 versions of your life story. Version 1. Focus on what went wrong, what you lacked, and how you were victimized. Version 2. Focus on what you survived, what you learned, and how you grew stronger. Include the same major events in both versions, but frame them differently. Notice how each version makes you feel about yourself and your possibilities. Choose to tell yourself version 2 going forward, emphasizing your resilience, growth, and wisdom rather than your wounds and limitations. The power of support. Healing from the past and building a better future isn't something you have to do alone. In fact, trying to do it alone often makes it harder and slower than it needs to be. Connection and support are not signs of weakness, they're signs of wisdom. When you share your struggles with trusted friends, family members, or professionals, several powerful things happen. First, you realize you're not alone in your pain. Everyone has battled their past in some way. This normalizes your experience and reduces the shame that often accompanies difficult memories. Second, other people can offer perspectives you can't see from inside your own experience. They can help you recognize patterns, identify blind spots, and see possibilities you've overlooked. Sometimes an outside view is exactly what you need to break free from old thinking patterns. Third, when you speak your pain out loud, it often loses some of its power over you. Secrets and shame grow in isolation. When brought into the light of honest conversation, they often shrink. But not everyone in your life is equipped to provide the support you need. Choose your confidants carefully. Look for people who listen without judgment, offer hope without minimizing your pain, and encourage growth without rushing your process. If your past involves trauma, abuse, or mental health challenges, consider working with a professional counselor or therapist. They have specialized training in helping people process difficult experiences and develop healthy coping strategies. Support groups can also be incredibly valuable, especially if you've experienced specific types of loss or trauma. Being around others who truly understand what you've been through can be profoundly healing. Remember, asking for help isn't admitting failure. It's choosing success. It's recognizing that you're worth the investment of time, energy, and possibly money required to get better. It's understanding that you don't have to carry your burdens alone. The strongest people aren't those who never need help. They're those who are brave enough to seek it when they do. Action step. Identify one area where you've been trying to handle everything alone. Reach out to at least 2 people this week. This could be calling a friend to talk, joining a support group, scheduling a session with a therapist, or asking a mentor for guidance. If reaching out feels difficult, start by texting someone. I'm going through a tough time and could use someone to talk to. Are you free this week? Notice that most people are honored to be trusted with your struggles and want to help. Create a list of 3 to 5 people you can contact when you need support so you have options ready when difficult times arise. Living in the present. The past is gone and can't be changed. The future is uncertain and largely beyond your control. The only moment you truly possess is this one right now. Yet most people spend their lives anywhere but in the present. They're either replaying past events they can't change or worrying about future scenarios they can't predict. They miss the beauty, opportunity, and peace available in this moment because their minds are elsewhere. Living in the present doesn't mean you never think about the past or plan for the future. It means you don't let those thoughts steal your ability to fully experience what's happening now. It means you can remember without being trapped by memory and plan without being paralyzed by uncertainty. Mindfulness, the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment, is one of the most powerful tools for breaking free from past and future obsessions. When you notice your mind drifting to old regrets or future worries, gently bring your attention back to what's happening right now. What do you see around you? What sounds do you hear? What sensations do you feel in your body? What emotions are present? This isn't about having a positive experience every moment. It's about having a real one. When you're fully present, something remarkable happens. Past regrets lose their emotional charge because you're not feeding them with your attention. Future anxieties diminish because you're not catastrophizing about what might happen. You discover that the present moment, even if it's not perfect, is manageable. Presence is also where your power lives. You can't change anything from the past. That's already happened. You can't directly control the future. That hasn't happened yet. But you can influence what happens right now through your choices, actions, and responses. The present moment is where healing happens. It's where relationships are built. It's where progress is made. It's where life is actually lived. Don't let the ghosts of yesterday or the shadows of tomorrow rob you of the gift of today. Creating new habits. Your past isn't just a collection of memories, it's also a set of habits. Ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving that became automatic through repetition. If you want to create a different future, you need to create new habits to replace the old ones. This is both challenging and hopeful. It's challenging because changing ingrained habits takes conscious effort and time. It's hopeful because it means you're not stuck with the habits that have limited you. You can literally rewire your brain through new choices and experiences. Start small. Identify one habit from your past that no longer serves you. Maybe it's the tendency to assume the worst in situations. Maybe it's the habit of isolating when you're stressed. Maybe it's the habit of negative self-talk when you make mistakes. Now choose a new habit to replace it. Instead of assuming the worst, practice looking for potential positive outcomes. Instead of isolating, reach out to supportive people. Instead of self-criticism, practice self-compassion. The key is consistency, not perfection. Every time you choose the new habit over the old one, you strengthen new neural pathways in your brain. Every time you catch yourself falling into old habits and consciously choose differently, you weaken those old pathways. It typically takes several weeks to several months to establish new habits, depending on their complexity and how long you've been practicing the old ones. Be patient with yourself during this process. Change is gradual and setbacks are normal. Track your progress by keeping a simple journal or using a habit tracking app. Notice the circumstances that trigger old habits and develop strategies for handling those situations differently. Celebrate small victories along the way. Remember, you're not trying to become a different person, you're trying to become the best version of yourself. The goal isn't to eliminate all traces of your past, but to ensure your past doesn't eliminate all possibilities for your future. The practice of gratitude. One of the most powerful tools for shifting your focus from past regrets to present blessings is gratitude. When you regularly acknowledge what's going well in your life, you train your brain to notice positive experiences rather than dwelling on negative ones. This isn't about pretending everything is perfect or minimizing real problems. It's about creating balance in your perspective. Pain and trauma deserve acknowledgement, but so do the good things in your life, even if they seem small. Every evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for from that day. They don't have to be major events. Maybe it's a kind word from a coworker, a good meal, a beautiful sunset, or simply having a warm bed to sleep in. The practice of looking for these moments trains your attention and gradually shifts your default mindset. Gratitude has a fascinating psychological effect. It's nearly impossible to feel genuinely grateful and genuinely miserable at the same time. When you're focused on appreciation, there's less mental space for rumination and regret. This doesn't mean you should try to feel grateful for traumatic experiences or minimize their impact. Rather, gratitude helps you recognize that your difficult past is not the whole story of your life. There are also threads of goodness, kindness, beauty, and hope woven throughout your experience. Over time, gratitude becomes a habit of mind. You start naturally noticing positive aspects of your daily experience. This creates an upward spiral. The more good you notice, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more likely you are to create positive experiences. The more positive experiences you have, the more reasons you have to be grateful. Gratitude also connects you with others in meaningful ways. Expressing appreciation to people in your life strengthens relationships and creates positive feedback loops. When you thank someone for their kindness, they're more likely to be kind again. When you acknowledge someone's efforts, they feel valued and motivated. This simple practice, spending a few minutes each day identifying what you're grateful for, can gradually transform your relationship with your past, your present, and your future. Action step: start a 3 good things journal. Every evening for the next 30 days, write down 3 things that went well that day and why you think they went well. They can be big things, getting a promotion, or small things. A stranger smiled at you, your coffee tasted perfect, you helped someone. For each item, explain why you're grateful for it and what role you played in making it happen. Research shows this simple practice can significantly improve mood and life satisfaction within just 1 week. Your new beginning. As we reach the end of our journey together, I want you to understand something profound. You are not defined by your past. You are not limited by your mistakes. You are not condemned to repeat old patterns. You are not stuck in yesterday's story. You are a human being with the remarkable capacity for growth, change, and renewal. Every day you wake up, you have the opportunity to make different choices. Every moment you're alive, you have the power to redirect your path. Every breath you take is a chance to begin again. Your past has given you experience, some pleasant, some painful, all valuable. Your present gives you opportunity to learn, to grow, to connect, to contribute. Your future gives you hope for healing, for joy, for meaning, for love. The journey from past to future isn't always easy. There will be days when old memories feel overwhelming. There will be times when you question whether change is really possible. There will be moments when you're tempted to retreat into familiar patterns, even if they hurt you. But remember, every person who has ever transformed their life has faced these same doubts and challenges. What made the difference wasn't the absence of difficulty, but the presence of determination. What mattered wasn't whether they never fell down, but whether they kept getting back up. You have everything within you that you need for this journey. You have the wisdom gained from your experiences. You have the strength proven by your survival. You have the capacity for growth demonstrated by your very presence here, seeking to learn and change. Your new beginning starts now, not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel completely ready, not when you have all the answers. Now, with whatever you have, wherever you are, however you feel. Take the first step. Put down 1 stone from your backpack of the past. Replace one, if only, with what now? Ask what one painful experience has taught you. Forgive yourself for one mistake. Choose to move forward from one hurt. Focus on today instead of yesterday. Build one small piece of your future. Rewrite one sentence of your story. Reach out to one supportive person. Practice presence in this one moment. Create one new positive habit. Feel grateful for one blessing in your life. One step. One choice. One moment of courage. That's how every transformation begins. Your past is finished, but your story isn't over. The best chapters are still being written, and the author of those chapters is you. Welcome to your new beginning. Listen to me carefully. Most people dramatically overestimate what they can accomplish in a single day, but they massively underestimate what they can transform in just 6 months. 6 months. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. How you can completely reinvent your life in the next 180 days. And before you think this is just another motivational speech, let me tell you something. I've studied thousands of success stories, analyzed the patterns of breakthrough achievements, and discovered something fascinating. The people who create extraordinary transformations don't do it by accident. They follow specific principles, and they understand the science behind change. Today, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint that separates those who dream about change from those who actually create it. So, why 6 months? Why not a year? Why not a month? Let me break this down for you. A year feels too distant. Your brain can't maintain focus on something that far away. You lose urgency. You procrastinate. A month is too short to see meaningful transformation. But 6 months, that's the sweet spot. It's what I call realistic urgency. Here's what the science tells us. Your brain needs between 66 to 254 days to form a habit completely. 6 months gives you exactly the time you need to rewire your neural pathways. It's also perfectly aligned with human psychology. 6 months equals 2 seasons, which matches our natural adaptation cycles. Think about it this way. If you improve just 1% every single day for 180 days, you become 6 times better than when you started. That's not just improvement, that's complete transformation. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. 6 months is going to pass whether you take action or not. The question isn't whether time will pass. The question is where you want to be when those 6 months are over. Let me share with you the 15 principles that will make these next 6 months the most transformative period of your life. Principle 1. Clarity is power. The first principle is clarity is power. Here's the brutal truth. Fuzzy goals create fuzzy results. Sharp goals create sharp results. Most people say things like, I want to be healthier, or I want to be happier. That's not a goal, that's a wish. Your brain doesn't know what to do with wishes. Let me give you a real example from the summary. Here's the difference between fuzzy and clear. Fuzzy goal, I want to be healthier. Problem, this sounds good, but it's too general. How do you measure it? How do you know when you've achieved it? Clear goal. In the next 3 months, I will work out 4 times per week, eat 200 fewer calories daily, and lose 5 kilograms. This is specific, has numbers, has a deadline. Your brain knows exactly what needs to be done, making it much easier to focus. See the difference. The first statement is vague and unmeasurable. The second is specific, has numbers, has a deadline. Your brain knows exactly what needs to be done. Here's what happens when you get crystal clear. Your reticular activating system, that's the part of your brain that filters information, suddenly starts noticing opportunities that align with your specific goals. It's like buying a red car and then seeing red cars everywhere. They were always there, but now your brain is programmed to notice them. This isn't just theory. When your brain has a specific target, it becomes incredibly efficient at allocating energy and attention toward that target. Vague goals scatter your mental resources. Clear goals concentrate them like a laser beam. Tonight, I want you to take out a piece of paper and write down exactly what you want your life to look like 6 months from today. Don't write, I want to be successful. Write, I want to increase my income by 40%. Read 12 books, start my own side business, and build a network of 50 professional contacts. Be ruthlessly specific. Include numbers, dates, and measurable outcomes. Your future self will thank you for this clarity. Clarity is power. When you're crystal clear about what you want, the universe has an interesting way of helping you get it. Principle 2. Philosophy for living. The second principle is philosophy for living. Your philosophy determines how you process everything that happens to you. It's not what happens that shapes your future. It's what you do about what happens. Success isn't magical or mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. But here's the challenge. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. It's easy to read 10 pages of a good book every day. It's also easy not to. It's easy to save 10% of your income. It's also easy not to. It's easy to exercise for 30 minutes. It's also easy not to. The small, simple things we do daily, reading a few pages, walking for 15 minutes, saving $1, seem insignificant in the moment, but they're actually the building blocks of our destiny. The difference between successful people and those who struggle isn't that successful people know more. It's that they consistently practice simple disciplines that most people overlook. Let me tell you about Sarah and Ben from our summary. Both understood the importance of saving money. Sarah decided to save just $5 every single day into her savings fund. Ben knew saving was good, but thought $5 doesn't matter much, and skipped it daily. After 1 year, Sarah had $1,825. After 10 years, she had over $18,000, not including interest. Ben had nothing. The difference wasn't knowledge. They both knew saving was important. The difference was philosophy. Sarah believed in doing simple things consistently. Ben believed small actions didn't matter. A strong life philosophy acts as your compass, helping you avoid being swept away by temporary emotions or external circumstances. It's what keeps you grounded when the world around you is chaotic. Your philosophy becomes your reality. If you believe small actions compound into big results, you'll take small actions. If you believe only big dramatic changes matter, you'll wait for the perfect moment that never comes. Here's what I want you to understand. Those small, simple things you do every day, they seem insignificant in the moment, but they're actually designing your destiny. Your daily philosophy in action becomes your life philosophy in results. Principle 3. Circle of influence. The third principle is circle of influence. Jim Rohn said it best. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But it's deeper than that. In today's world, you're also the average of the 5 books you read, the 5 podcasts you listen to, the 5 social media accounts you follow most. Your environment has more influence than you realize. There are 2 types of people in this world, those who inspire you and those who tire you. Your job over the next 6 months is to increase your exposure to people who inspire you and decrease your exposure to those who tire you. Here's what I call the principle of borrowed belief. When you spend time around people with bigger thinking, you start to borrow their vision and confidence until it becomes your own. Success leaves clues, and the fastest way to shorten your learning curve is to observe and learn the habits, thinking patterns, and strategies from people who have already achieved what you want. Let me give you a concrete example from our research. Many startup founders in Silicon Valley deliberately hang out at cafes and co-working spaces with people who have already raised millions in funding. They observe how these successful entrepreneurs pitch their ideas, network with investors, and manage their teams. Then they copy and apply these strategies, shortening their learning curve by years instead of trying to figure everything out through trial and error. Environment shapes thinking. You will think, act, and achieve results similar to the environment you're consistently exposed to. This is why it's crucial to be intentional about who and what influences you daily. You don't have to physically move to Silicon Valley. You can create your own success environment. Follow 100 successful people online instead of people who just complain. Listen to interviews with industry leaders instead of gossip. Read biographies of people who've achieved what you want to achieve instead of consuming mindless entertainment. But here's the key. You also need to audit your current circle. Apply the 80-20 principle of relationship filtering. You don't need to completely cut people out, but you should allocate your energy wisely. Spend 80% of your time with people who lift you up and only 20% with those you're obligated to maintain relationships with. Remember, your environment is stronger than your willpower. Change your environment and you change your life. The people and influences you expose yourself to daily are quietly shaping who you become. Principle 4. The power of writing it down. The fourth principle is the power of writing it down. You must become a serious student of your own life. Every time you read something powerful, every time you have an insight, every time you learn something valuable, write it down. But don't just copy it. Make it yours. When you encounter something meaningful, don't just write down what you read. Write down what resonated with you personally. Connect it to real situations in your work or life. Summarize it into concrete action steps you can take. This practice serves 3 crucial purposes. First, you remember 60 to 70% more than if you just read passively. The act of writing engages different parts of your brain and creates stronger neural pathways. Second, you create a personal knowledge library you can return to anytime. This becomes your customized wisdom collection. Third, you transform learning into action, preventing knowledge from dying on the page. You become someone who applies wisdom, not just collects it. Let me give you a practical example. If you read just 10 pages of a good book every day, in 6 months, you'll have read 1,800 pages. That's approximately 6 to 7 books. Do you think your life would be different if you absorbed the wisdom from 7 carefully chosen books? Of course it would. But here's what most people don't realize. Reading isn't enough. You need to process what you read. You need to take notes. You need to apply the insights. Without documentation, you're just entertaining yourself with other people's ideas instead of building your own wisdom. The goal is to help you remember longer, create your own knowledge treasury, and transform learning into action rather than letting knowledge remain dormant. This discipline of documentation transforms you from a knowledge consumer into a knowledge owner and applier. Think of it this way. Every book you read with intentional note-taking is like adding another mentor to your brain. Over 6 months, you're building a personal board of advisors in your mind. Principle 5. The best investment, you. The fifth principle is the best investment, you. Jim Rohn said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." Here's something that fascinates me. People will spend $100 on dinner without thinking twice, but they hesitate to spend $100 on a book or course that could change their life. Think about this. $100 for dinner satisfies you for a few hours, and then it's gone forever. $100 for education and skills opens opportunities to multiply your income by 10x or 100x in the future. The ROI isn't even comparable. The return on investment in yourself is literally unlimited. A $1,000 course that teaches you a skill worth an additional $100,000 annually gives you a 10,000% return. No stock market investment can match that kind of return on investment. Here's what I want you to do. Calculate how much you've invested in your own development in the past year. Include books, courses, seminars, coaching, anything that improved your knowledge or skills. Then calculate how much you've spent on entertainment, dining out, and things that provided only temporary satisfaction. I'm not saying don't enjoy life. I'm saying be intentional about the balance. Every dollar you invest in developing yourself pays dividends for the rest of your life. Every dollar spent on temporary pleasures is gone forever. Over the next 6 months, commit to investing in yourself, whether it's books, courses, seminars, or coaching. Make self-education a non-negotiable budget item, just like rent or food. If someone is going where you want to go, they know something you don't know. Invest in learning what they know. If there's a skill that could transform your career, invest in developing that skill. If there's knowledge that could change your life, invest in acquiring that knowledge. Your formal education gave you the basics to make a living. Your self-education will give you the advanced skills to make a fortune. The question is, are you willing to invest in your own potential? Principle 6. The magic of small wins. The sixth principle is the magic of small wins. Small improvements, sustained over time, create massive results. Most people wait to do something big. They're waiting for the perfect moment to make a dramatic change. But success doesn't work that way. Success is built on 1,000 tiny decisions made correctly day after day. Here's the magic. If you get just 1% better every single day, you're not just 365% better at the end of the year. Because of compounding, you're actually 37 times better. Let me give you a concrete example. If you decide to learn 5 new vocabulary words every day, after 6 months, you'll know 900 new words. If you started with a vocabulary of 1,000 words, you've nearly doubled your word knowledge in just 6 months. This improvement in vocabulary dramatically enhances your speaking, writing, and comprehension abilities. The key is this. Small actions maintained consistently create identity shifts. You don't just become someone who occasionally develops themselves. You become someone who constantly develops themselves. This is what separates champions from everyone else. Champions understand that winning happens in the small moments when nobody's watching. It happens in the decision to do the right thing when it's easy to do the wrong thing. Start ridiculously small. The goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Principle 7. From goals to gains. The seventh principle is from goals to gains. Most people set goals that are too small. They set goals based on what they think they can achieve instead of what they truly want. Over the next 6 months, I want you to set goals that scare you a little bit. If your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. But here's the key. Break these big goals down into daily activities. Let me share a story. A person wanted to open their own coffee shop. Instead of just dreaming about it, they broke it down. This week, research different coffee shop business models. Next month, take a barista course. Following months, save a specific amount each month. Continue learning about business operations, supplier relationships, location scouting. After 1 to 2 years, their dream of opening a coffee shop became reality. Success isn't about what you do occasionally, it's about what you do consistently. Your daily actions should be stepping stones toward your bigger vision. Here's what I want you to understand. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Focus on building systems that automatically move you toward your objectives. Principle 8. Raise your standards. The 8th principle is raise your standards. Your life doesn't operate according to what you want. It operates according to the minimum standards you're willing to accept. People with low standards easily compromise, easily give up, easily get swept along by circumstances. People with high standards force themselves and their environment to rise to meet those standards. Here's how this shows up in real life. In relationships, low standard, I guess this is good enough. High standard, I deserve a partner who supports my growth and shares my values. In income, low standard, I'm comfortable with getting by. High standard, I won't accept earning less than X amount per year, so I need to develop skills and find opportunities to reach that level. In health, low standard, I'll exercise when I feel like it. High standard, I work out 4 times per week, no exceptions, because my health is non-negotiable. When you raise your standards, something amazing happens. You start making decisions that align with those standards. You start attracting opportunities that match those standards. You start becoming the person who naturally operates at that level. Your standards become your destiny. Raise them carefully, but raise them consistently. Principle 9. Rituals that win. The 9th principle is rituals that win. Your life isn't shaped by what you do occasionally, it's shaped by what you do consistently. Daily rituals are like the backbone that creates structure for your life. They shape your habits, your thinking, and ultimately the results you achieve. Most successful people have 2 to 3 non-negotiable daily rituals. For many, it starts with how they begin their day. Here's a simple but powerful morning ritual that can transform your life. Wake up 1 hour earlier every day. That's 180 extra hours over 6 months, equivalent to 4.5 weeks of 40-hour work weeks. Think about what you could accomplish with an extra 180 hours of focused time. Use that hour for 10 minutes of silence or meditation, 15 minutes of journaling or planning, 20 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of physical movement. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Even if you only do this 5 days a week, you're still creating massive positive changes in your life. Remember, how you start your day determines how you live your day. Win your morning, and you win your life. Principle 10. Power of accountability. The 10th principle is power of accountability. When you're accountable to someone, your performance improves dramatically. Here's a fascinating aspect of human psychology. We'll do more to avoid letting others down than we'll do to lift ourselves up. Use this to your advantage. Research shows that when people are being observed, their performance improves by 20 to 40%. When people make public commitments, their success rate increases by 65%. When people have coaches or accountability partners, they achieve their goals 70% more often. Here's how to apply this. Find an accountability partner, someone who's also committed to growth. Meet weekly to share your progress, challenges, and commitments for the following week. Join or create a mastermind group where people support each other's goals and hold each other accountable. Make public commitments on social media or to friends and family about specific goals you're working toward. The key is creating positive pressure. When you know someone is counting on you to follow through, you're much more likely to do so. Principle 11. Focus drives results. The 11th principle is focus drives results. Where focus goes, energy flows. In our hyper-connected world, the average person checks their phone 150 times per day. That's constant focus fragmentation. Meanwhile, research shows that 4 hours of focused work produces more results than 8 hours of distracted work. Here's what I've learned from studying highly successful people. They don't try to do everything. They identify the 20% of activities that produce 80% of their results, and they focus relentlessly on those activities. Steve Jobs once said, "Focus is about saying no." Apple didn't become successful by making hundreds of products. They became successful by making a few products extraordinarily well. Over the next 6 months, you need to become ruthless about protecting your focus. This means eliminating or minimizing activities that don't move you toward your goals, creating blocks of uninterrupted time for your most important work, learning to say no to good opportunities so you can say yes to great ones. Remember, don't major in minor things. Don't confuse being busy with being productive. Focus on what matters most and let everything else go. Principle 12. Celebrate the wins. The 12th principle is celebrate the wins. Don't wait until you reach your final goal to celebrate. Celebrate progress, not just achievements. Here's what neuroscience tells us. Celebrating small wins releases dopamine, which is your brain's motivation fuel. When you celebrate progress, you're literally programming your brain to want more progress. Harvard Business School research found that feeling progress is the #1 motivator for continued effort. People who celebrate small victories are more likely to persist through challenges and ultimately achieve their bigger goals. Here's how to apply this. If you set a goal to read 12 books this year, celebrate every time you finish one book instead of waiting until you've read all 12. If you're working toward a fitness goal, celebrate every workout, every healthy meal choice, every pound lost. Create celebration triggers every 2 weeks. These don't have to be expensive or elaborate. They just need to acknowledge your progress and reinforce your commitment to continued growth. When you celebrate the journey, the destination becomes more achievable and more enjoyable. Principle 13. Give to grow. The 13th principle is give to grow. Success without contribution is empty achievement. When you contribute, you don't just give. You also learn new skills, expand your network, and increase your own value. The most successful people balance what they achieve for themselves with what they bring to others. Contribution creates meaning and connection with community, helping you feel you belong to something bigger than yourself. When you contribute, you develop new capabilities, expand your network, and elevate your personal value. Let me share an example. After selling his startup for millions, an entrepreneur opened a scholarship fund for underprivileged students. This didn't just help those students, it gave his success deeper meaning and connected him with a community of other philanthropists and educators. Here's what I want you to understand. The more value you create for others, the more valuable you become. It's not just about what you can get. It's about what you can give. Over the next 6 months, look for ways to add value to others' lives. Share your knowledge, mentor someone, volunteer your skills, help others solve problems you've already solved. True success isn't just about what you accumulate, it's about what you contribute. Principle 14. Power of decisiveness. The 14th principle is power of decisiveness. Successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly. Unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them quickly. Decisive people don't waste time in hesitation, allowing them to seize opportunities before they disappear. Every decision you make today shapes your tomorrow. Let me give you an example. Steve Jobs made the quick decision to eliminate the keyboard from the iPhone, a decision that went against industry trends at the time but changed the entire mobile industry. Here's what happens when you become decisive. You stop missing opportunities while you're thinking about them. You build momentum. You gain confidence in your judgment. You start attracting other decisive people who can help you succeed. Indecisive people live in a constant state of what if and maybe tomorrow. Decisive people live in a state of let's find out and let's make it happen. Over the next 6 months, practice making decisions quickly, not recklessly, but without endless deliberation. Gather the information you need, trust your judgment, and move forward. Remember, a good decision made quickly is usually better than a perfect decision made too late. Principle 15. Power of gratitude. The 15th and final principle is power of gratitude. This might be the most powerful transformation tool you'll ever discover. Here's what I want you to do, starting tonight. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every single day. That's 540 moments of gratitude over the next 6 months. Gratitude helps reshape how we see life. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we focus on what we have. When you're grateful, you easily create positive energy, which attracts more good opportunities. Oprah Winfrey shares that keeping a gratitude journal was one of the biggest keys to maintaining balance and feeling fulfilled, even during her busiest periods. But here's what makes gratitude so powerful. What you appreciate appreciates. When you focus on the good things in your life with genuine appreciation, you tend to notice more good things. It's like training your brain to be a magnet for positive experiences. Let me give you a simple formula. Every night, write down 3 achievements from that day, 2 lessons you learned, and 1 thing you're excited about for tomorrow. This practice rewires your brain for positivity and opportunity recognition. It helps you end each day feeling accomplished and start each morning feeling optimistic. Your transformation starts now. These 15 principles aren't just concepts to think about, they're a blueprint for complete life transformation. But knowledge without action is worthless. Information without implementation is just entertainment. Here's what I want you to understand. 6 months from now, you will surely arrive. The question is where? That answer depends entirely on the decisions you make today and the actions you take starting tomorrow. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is found in your daily routine. Success isn't about dramatic gestures or perfect moments. It's about consistent small actions that compound over time. Most people will hear these principles and do nothing. They'll nod their heads, think, "That makes sense," and then go back to their old patterns. Don't be most people. A small percentage will actually implement these principles. They'll start writing clear goals. They'll upgrade their philosophy. They'll change their environment. They'll invest in themselves. They'll build better rituals. Those are the people who will look back 6 months from now and barely recognize the person they used to be. Those are the people who will have stories of transformation, not stories of regret. Life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And today, right here, right now, you have the opportunity to make changes that will completely transform your life over the next 6 months. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take this moment and make it perfect. Don't wait for motivation. Take action and let motivation follow. Don't wait for conditions to improve. Improve your response to conditions. Remember, Everything you need to create an extraordinary life is within your reach. The knowledge is available. The strategies are proven. The opportunities are endless. The only question is, are you ready to begin? 6 months is going to pass whether you take action or not. The only question is where you want to be when those 6 months are over. Start today. Start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, take one principle, apply it today, then tomorrow, apply it again and again until it becomes part of who you are. Your transformation doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins when you decide you're ready. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today, and today you've taken the first step toward that preparation. Now go forth and make these next 6 months the most transformative, productive, and meaningful 6 months of your entire life. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. Don't let them down. Thank you, and remember, your transformation starts now. And family, hoping for support and encouragement. Instead, you get blank stares, polite smiles, and comments like, "That sounds really hard," or "Are you sure about that?" You post your plans on social media, waiting for likes and supportive comments to fuel your motivation. But the responses are lukewarm at best, and some people even question whether you're being realistic. You spend hours explaining your vision to people who just don't get it. You waste precious energy trying to convince others that your dreams are worth pursuing, defending your choices to people who will never understand your ambition. Meanwhile, you watch other people achieve exactly what you keep talking about. They seem to move forward effortlessly while you're stuck in endless conversations, seeking approval that never comes. Here's the truth. If you keep talking about your dreams and waiting for approval, someone else is already putting in the work and turning their dreams into reality. You have the same potential as those successful people. You have the same hours in your day. You have access to the same information and opportunities. So why are they making progress while you're still trying to get people to believe in you? The difference isn't talent, luck, or connections. The difference is focus. They focus on themselves and their work. You focus on getting others to approve of your work before you've even done it. They know something simple. People who succeed don't talk much. They just keep working until the results show. Most people live their lives backwards. They announce their intentions, seek permission for their dreams, and wait for the world's approval before they take action. They turn every goal into a public performance instead of private progress. Then they wonder why their energy is drained, why people don't take them seriously, why their biggest dreams never become reality. Welcome to Fluent English with Radio. We're here to help you learn more than English. We want to show you how self-focus and quiet discipline can turn ordinary people into high achievers. Today, we're sharing lessons that can change your life. These aren't just theories. They are real strategies proven by people who kept working while others only talked about it. Stop seeking approval. Break free from the validation trap. Every second you spend trying to prove your worth to people who don't really care is a second you're not investing in your own dreams. This might be the hardest truth to accept, but it's also the most liberating. Most people are too busy worried about their own lives to spend much energy caring about yours. When you pour your energy into seeking approval, you're essentially giving other people control over your life. You're letting their fears, limitations, and small thinking determine what you do with your precious time. Seeking approval is like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much validation you get, it's never enough because you haven't learned to validate yourself. Here's what happens when you live for approval. You make decisions based on what others will think instead of what serves your growth. You choose safe paths that won't attract criticism instead of bold moves that could change your life. You edit your dreams down to what others can understand instead of pursuing what truly excites you. But when you shift your focus back to yourself, everything changes. You take back control of your life. You build confidence from within. You start shaping your reality according to your own vision instead of living by committee. Stopping the need for approval doesn't mean you become arrogant or disconnected. It means you learn to recognize your own value without needing constant external confirmation. It means you decide to take charge of your life instead of living to please people who aren't even paying your bills or sharing your struggles. Let me show you how powerful this shift can be with one of the most inspiring examples in modern business history. When Elon Musk announced his plans for Tesla and SpaceX, the entire automotive and aerospace industries laughed at him. Experts said electric cars would never be mainstream. Critics called his timelines unrealistic and his goals delusional. Every rational person said Musk was wasting his time trying to compete in industries dominated by established giants. Most people in his position would have spent their energy trying to convince the doubters. They would have given presentation after presentation, trying to prove their ideas were valid. They would have modified their vision to make it more acceptable to the critics. But Musk chose a different path. Instead of seeking approval, he focused entirely on execution. While doubters debated, he built. While experts explained why it couldn't be done, he was busy doing it. Today, Tesla is one of the most valuable car companies in the world, and SpaceX is revolutionizing space travel. Musk didn't need anyone's permission to change the world. He just needed his own commitment to keep working when everyone else said it was impossible. The lesson is clear. Your dreams don't need other people's approval to become reality. They need your focused action day after day, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Here's your challenge. Stop explaining your dreams and start building them. Don't waste another day trying to convince people who aren't willing to be convinced. Instead of seeking approval, start giving it to yourself. The step is to notice when you're seeking approval instead of taking action. Watch how much time you spend talking about your goals instead of working on them. Notice how often you explain your decisions to people who aren't even part of them. Most importantly, make choices based on your own values and vision, not on what others want. When you think, "What will people say?" change it to, "What do I believe is right?" When you want to ask for permission, remind yourself, "This is my life. Why do I need approval?" Remember, successful people are busy building their own lives, not judging yours. The ones who criticize the most are often the ones doing the least. Your life is your responsibility. Your dreams are your business. Your success is your choice. Stop giving other people veto power over your future and start using your energy to create the life you actually want. Avoid comparison. Stay true to your own path. In our social media world, this trap is more dangerous than ever before. You see carefully curated highlights of other people's lives and compare them to your behind-the-scenes reality. You see someone else's success and immediately start questioning your own path. But here's what you're not seeing. You're comparing your struggles to their celebrations, your process to their results, your beginning to their middle or end. You're comparing your real life to their highlight reel and then wondering why you feel inadequate. When you get caught in the comparison trap, you start doubting decisions you were confident about yesterday. You begin copying strategies that worked for others instead of developing approaches that work for you. You waste time and energy trying to keep up with people who are on completely different journeys. Most dangerously, comparison makes you believe that there's only one way to succeed, one timeline that matters, and one definition of achievement worth pursuing. This thinking keeps you stuck because you're trying to force your unique situation into someone else's blueprint. But when you focus on your own path, everything changes. You learn to value every small step forward. You start enjoying the process of growth instead of constantly measuring yourself against others. You make real progress because you're moving at your own pace toward goals that actually matter to you. Let me show you two powerful examples of people who refused to be limited by comparison and created extraordinary results by staying true to their own unique paths. Walt Disney was told his ideas were too childish and unrealistic. When he wanted to create the first full-length animated film, industry experts said audiences would never sit through 90 minutes of cartoons. When he dreamed of building Disneyland, bankers called it a ridiculous waste of money. The entertainment industry had established rules about what worked and what didn't. Serious filmmakers made live-action dramas. Amusement parks were cheap, temporary carnival attractions. Disney's vision didn't fit into any existing category, which made everyone uncomfortable. Most people in his position would have looked at successful filmmakers and tried to copy their formulas. They would have compared their unconventional ideas to what was already working and decided to play it safe. But Disney refused to let other people's success define his path. He wasn't trying to be the next Charlie Chaplin or D.W. Griffith. He was trying to be the first Walt Disney. He focused on his unique vision of storytelling through animation and creating magical experiences that didn't exist anywhere else. The result, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, became a massive success, proving that audiences would indeed watch feature-length animated films. Disneyland revolutionized entertainment and inspired theme parks around the world. Disney created an entirely new category of success because he refused to limit himself to existing comparisons. Now, let me tell you about Serena Williams, who faced comparison and criticism throughout her entire career. From the beginning, people compared her to other tennis players and found reasons to criticize everything from her playing style to her appearance to her background. Tennis had a clear picture of what champions were supposed to be: thin, quiet, and almost always white. Serena Williams didn't fit that image, and critics reminded her of it constantly. But instead of changing to meet their expectations, she leaned into her strength, her style, and her difference, and that's exactly what made her a legend. She built a powerful, aggressive style that was completely her own. She brought fire and emotion to a sport that valued calm control. She stayed true to herself, even when others told her to hold back. The result speaks for itself: 23 Grand Slam singles titles, making her one of the greatest athletes in any sport. Williams didn't succeed by copying other players or trying to fit in. She succeeded by being authentically herself and refusing to let comparison diminish her unique strengths. These examples reveal a crucial truth. The people who achieve extraordinary results are usually the ones who stop comparing themselves to others and start maximizing their own unique advantages. Here's your path forward. Instead of looking sideways at what everyone else is doing, look forward at where you want to go. Start by avoiding things that make you compare yourself. Use social media less or unfollow people who make you feel bad. Try to spend no more than 30 minutes a day on it. Remember, social media only shows the good parts of someone's life, not the whole story. Next, set goals that match what you truly care about. For example, if you care about learning, make a goal like learn Spanish for 30 minutes every day. If you care about health, make a goal like go to the gym 3 times a week. Most importantly, start tracking your own progress instead of measuring yourself against others. Keep a daily journal where you record small wins, lessons learned, and steps taken toward your goals. When you focus on your own growth, you'll be amazed at how much progress you're actually making. Remember, everyone has a different starting point, different resources, different circumstances, and different definitions of success. Your only meaningful comparison is with who you were yesterday, not with who someone else is today. Act in silence. Protect your vision while it grows. One surprising secret of success is this: the less you talk about your goals, the more likely you are to reach them. In today's world, where people share everything, this may sound strange, but both science and real life show it works. When you announce your goals too early, several dangerous things happen. First, talking about them gives you a false sense of accomplishment. Your brain gets a small hit of satisfaction from sharing your plans, which reduces your motivation to actually execute them. Second, when you announce your goals too early, you open the door to criticism and doubt from people who don't see your vision. New ideas are fragile, like small plants just starting to grow. Too much negativity too soon can stop them before they become strong. Third, public declarations create pressure to perform on other people's timelines instead of your own. You start making decisions based on what you've promised others instead of what actually serves your progress. But when you work quietly, you protect your vision while it's still fragile. Your motivation comes from within, not from others. You avoid early criticism that could shake your confidence. You can also adjust your plans without needing to explain yourself to people who were never part of the decision. Working in silence also keeps your focus sharp. Instead of wasting energy on updates and explanations, you put it all into action. Instead of trying to meet other people's expectations, you focus only on your own progress. Most importantly, when you finally reveal your results instead of your intentions, your success speaks louder than any announcement ever could. People respect achievement more than ambition, results more than promises. Let me show you how powerful this principle can be through the story of one of Hollywood's most respected actors. Denzel Washington is known for delivering powerful, authentic performances in films like Training Day, Malcolm X, and Fences. He's won multiple Academy Awards and is considered one of the greatest actors of his generation. But his path to success was built on years of quiet, focused work that most people never saw. Before he became a household name, Washington spent years honing his craft on theater stages, in small television roles, and through intensive acting training. While other actors were networking at parties and seeking publicity, Washington was studying his craft in relative obscurity. He didn't make big announcements about becoming a movie star. He didn't post about his goals on social media or give interviews about his ambitions. Instead, he focused entirely on becoming excellent at his craft, one role at a time, one skill at a time. This quiet focus helped him find his true style as an actor without being shaped by critics or trends. He earned his reputation by doing steady, high-quality work, not by chasing publicity or hype. When Washington finally got into big Hollywood movies, his work spoke for itself. Directors chose him because they had seen his talent, not because of what he said he would do. His success came from real results, not empty promises. Today, Denzel Washington is more than a successful actor. He is a cultural icon who has inspired a whole generation of performers. His career proves the power of letting your work speak louder than your words. Here's how you can apply this principle in your own life. Keep your biggest goals private until you have significant progress to show. Share your dreams only with people who deserve to hear them. Talk to mentors who can guide you, friends who truly support you, or advisors who can give real help. Choose people who want you to succeed, not those who feel threatened by your goals. Instead of announcing your intentions, focus on planning your actions. Create detailed plans that break your big goals into smaller, manageable steps. Plan your next 10 years, your next year, your next month, your next week, and your next day. The clearer your plan, the less you'll need to talk about it because you'll be too busy executing it. Avoid the temptation to post about your goals on social media. Instead of seeking likes and comments for your intentions, channel that energy into actual work. Write your goals in a private journal where you can track your real progress without outside influence. When people ask about your plans, practice giving general answers that don't reveal your specific strategies. You can say you're working on some personal projects or focusing on self-improvement without going into details that invite unwanted opinions. Most importantly, let your results be your announcement. When you achieve something significant, that's when you share it. People are much more impressed by accomplished facts than by ambitious plans. Remember, the most powerful movements in history started with individuals working quietly, building strength and momentum before they revealed themselves to the world. Your success deserves the same protection and focused development. Manage your energy like a precious resource. Your energy is the most valuable currency you possess. Unlike money, which you can always earn more of, your daily energy is limited and irreplaceable. How you invest this precious resource determines whether you build the life you want or drift through years of mediocrity. Most people act like their energy will never run out. They waste it on drama, distractions, and trying to explain themselves to people who don't matter. They spend their best time on other people's priorities and then wonder why they feel tired and unsatisfied. But successful people know that managing energy is the key to achievement. They guard their mental and emotional energy carefully. They use it wisely on actions that grow stronger over time. They stay away from things that only drain them and create stress. When you manage your energy wisely, several powerful things happen. Your mind stays clear and focused on what truly matters. You recognize opportunities that others miss because they're too scattered to see them. You have the stamina to persist through challenges that stop most people. Energy management also affects the quality of your decisions. When you're mentally fresh and emotionally centered, you make choices that serve your long-term goals. When you're drained and scattered, you make reactive decisions that often create more problems than they solve. Let me show you what proper energy management looks like through the example of one of the most productive entrepreneurs of our time. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, has led the company to unprecedented success by treating his energy as a strategic resource. Cook is famous for starting his day at 3:45 a.m., not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because those early morning hours give him uninterrupted time to focus on what matters most. While most people are still sleeping, Cook is reading emails, reviewing reports, and making important decisions with a fresh, clear mind. He gets his most important work done before the distractions and demands of the day begin. Cook also protects his energy by being extremely selective about meetings and commitments. He delegates extensively so he can focus on the strategic decisions that only he can make. He avoids energy-draining activities that don't contribute to Apple's mission. This disciplined approach to energy management has helped Cook lead Apple through its most successful period in company history. Under his leadership, Apple has become the most valuable company in the world, proving that how you manage your energy directly impacts what you can achieve. Now let me show you what happens when someone fails to manage their energy properly. Many talented people destroy their potential by spreading their energy too thin. They say yes to every request, chase every opportunity, and try to please everyone. They spend their mornings checking social media, which fills their minds with other people's problems and opinions. They waste their peak energy hours on unimportant tasks and then wonder why they don't have motivation left for their most important goals. By the end of each day, they're exhausted but haven't made meaningful progress on anything that truly matters to them. They're busy but not productive, active but not effective. The difference between these two approaches isn't talent or opportunity, it's energy management. One approach builds your power over time, while the other spreads it so thin that nothing important gets done. Here's how you can start managing your energy like the precious resource it is. First, identify and eliminate energy drains from your daily routine. Delete apps that serve no productive purpose. Turn off notifications that constantly interrupt your focus. Put your phone in airplane mode during your most important work hours. Create physical and digital boundaries that protect your mental space. Use noise-canceling headphones when you need to concentrate. Set up a dedicated workspace where you can think clearly without distractions. Second, start each day by feeding your mind with positive, empowering input instead of negative news or social media. Read something inspiring, listen to educational content, or simply spend a few minutes in quiet reflection about your goals. This shapes your mindset for the whole day. When you begin with positivity and purpose, you're more likely to carry that energy with you until the end. Third, schedule your most important work during your peak energy hours. Most people have their clearest thinking and strongest motivation in the morning, but pay attention to your own patterns. Whenever your mind feels sharpest, that's when you should tackle your most challenging and important tasks. Fourth, learn to say no to requests that don't align with your priorities. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something that could change your life. Protect your time and energy for the people and projects that truly matter. Finally, surround yourself with people who add energy to your life instead of draining it. Spend time with individuals who inspire you, challenge you to grow, and support your ambitions. Distance yourself from people who constantly complain, create drama, or try to pull you into their negative mindset. Your energy today determines your results tomorrow. Treat it with the respect it deserves, and it will reward you with the focus and stamina needed to achieve your biggest goals. Turn doubt into fuel. Transform criticism into strength. Doubt from others is normal when you chase something meaningful. The bigger your dreams, the more criticism you will face. This often means your vision is strong enough to challenge the usual way of things, and that makes people uncomfortable. Here's what many people miss. Doubt from others usually doesn't show your limits. It shows theirs. It often comes from their own fears, failures, and beliefs. When someone says something is impossible, they're really talking about what they can't do, not what you can do. Some people doubt you because your progress shows them they are not moving. Your growth makes them see they are stuck. Your courage shows their fear. Instead of being inspired, they try to pull you down. Successful people use doubt to push themselves forward. They know most criticism comes from people who aren't even doing the work. The ones who really succeed are too busy with their own goals to waste time bringing others down. When you turn doubt into determination, you gain the strength to keep going through challenges that stop most people. Every no pushes you to prove them wrong. Every criticism shows you what to improve. Every setback becomes a chance to come back stronger. Let me show you two perfect examples of people who used doubt as their primary source of motivation. Michael Jordan is widely considered the greatest basketball player who ever lived, but his journey to greatness began with rejection that could have ended his career before it started. In high school, Jordan was cut from his varsity basketball team. The coach told him he wasn't tall enough, skilled enough, or good enough to play at that level. Most teenagers would have been devastated and given up on their basketball dreams. But Jordan made a choice that changed everything. Instead of accepting the coach's judgment, he decided to use it as fuel. Every day after being cut, he practiced with even more intensity. He used the rejection as proof that he had something to prove. Jordan later said that being cut from his high school team was the best thing that ever happened to his basketball career because it gave him the motivation to outwork everyone else. That disappointment became the foundation of an obsession with excellence that drove him to 6 NBA championships and global iconic status. The coach who cut Jordan was evaluating based on current ability, but Jordan was building toward future potential. The doubt was real, but it was also temporary. Jordan's response to that doubt determined everything that followed. Now let me tell you about Mark Zuckerberg, who faced massive doubt when he started Facebook from his college dorm room. When Zuckerberg launched the Facebook at Harvard, existing social media platforms like MySpace and Friendster dominated the market. Investors initially rejected Facebook, saying it was just a fad that would fade away like many other internet trends. Critics said college students would lose interest once they graduated and entered the real world. Many people in Zuckerberg's position would have listened to the experts and either given up or tried to copy what was already working. The safe choice would have been to focus on his studies and pursue a traditional career path. Instead of being discouraged by rejection, Zuckerberg became more determined to build something that worked. He focused on creating a better user experience than existing platforms and expanding beyond college campuses. Today, Facebook, now Meta, connects billions of people around the world and has fundamentally changed how humans communicate. Zuckerberg is recognized as one of the most successful tech entrepreneurs in history. The doubt that surrounded his early efforts now seems laughably wrong. These examples show a simple truth. When others doubt you, it often means your idea is big. Small ideas don't get much criticism. Big visions make people uncomfortable, and that's why they can change everything. Here's how you can transform doubt into your competitive advantage. First, think about where the criticism comes from. Is it from someone who has already done what you want to do? Are they speaking with real experience or just out of fear? Are they giving advice to help you or only to feel better about their own limits? Advice from successful people in your field deserves attention. Criticism from people who haven't built what you're building deserves much less weight in your decision-making process. Second, try to find something useful in the criticism. Even if the message feels negative, there may be a small point that helps you improve. Take the helpful part and ignore the rest. Third, use doubt as proof that your goals are big enough to matter. If everyone immediately understood and supported your vision, it probably isn't ambitious enough to create significant change. Revolutionary ideas always face initial resistance. Fourth, prepare a simple response to doubt that keeps you focused. If someone says your dream won't work, just reply, "Thanks for your opinion," and keep going. Don't waste time or energy trying to convince people who don't want to believe. Finally, keep track of your progress to see how far you've come. When doubt hurts your confidence, look back at the challenges you've already faced and the goals you've already reached. Your past success shows you what you can achieve in the future. Remember, the people who achieve extraordinary results are rarely the ones who faced the least doubt. They're the ones who used doubt as fuel to work harder, think smarter, and persist longer than everyone else. Build discipline, the foundation of lasting success. Motivation gets you started, but discipline gets you results. Motivation is an emotion that comes and goes like weather. Discipline is a decision you make regardless of how you feel. When you base your actions on motivation, you work inconsistently and achieve mediocre results. When you build discipline, you create unstoppable momentum toward your goals. Discipline is hidden freedom. It may feel restrictive, but it saves you from the cost of bad choices. If you wake up early with discipline, you get more hours for what matters. If you save money with discipline, you get safety and options. If you stay focused with discipline, you can reach goals that seem impossible to those without it. Most people avoid discipline because they think it takes away fun, but the truth is the opposite. Without discipline, you face regret, stress, and lost chances, which bring no joy. With discipline, you gain success, confidence, and the happiness of becoming your best self. Discipline grows stronger over time. Each discipline choice makes the next one easier. Every day you keep your promises, your mind becomes stronger for future challenges. Every small win shows you can trust yourself to do what you say. Building discipline starts with knowing it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. You don't need to control every part of your life at once. Just choose one or two important areas where discipline will help the most and start from there. Start with something simple but important, like waking up at the same time every day or exercising for 20 minutes each morning. Small, steady actions train your mind for discipline, and later you can use that strength for bigger challenges. The key is to keep promises to yourself, even if they are small. If you say you will do something, then do it. Each choice builds trust with yourself, and that trust shapes what you believe you can achieve in the future. Discipline also means setting up your environment to make goals easier. If you want to read more, put books in easy-to-see places and put your phone in another room. If you want to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nutritious foods and remove the junk. Make good choices simple and bad choices difficult. Most importantly, connect discipline to your real purpose. When you know the reason behind what you do, it won't feel like a punishment. It will feel like a step toward the life you want. Every disciplined choice moves you closer to that life. Every day you practice discipline, you prove to yourself that you're serious about your goals. The compound power of self-focus. These habits don't just add up, they multiply and make each other stronger. Silent action becomes more powerful when you're not wasting energy on approval seeking. Discipline becomes easier when you're not constantly comparing yourself to others. Energy management becomes natural when you're focused on your own path instead of everyone else's opinions. This is why successful people often achieve more. They don't have extra hours or secret talents. They simply focus their time and energy on what really matters instead of wasting it on other people's priorities. When you focus fully on your own growth, goals, and progress, you reach a state of flow that most people never experience. You stop wasting energy on distractions and start directing it clearly toward your objectives. This focused approach also creates momentum that becomes self-sustaining. Each small win builds confidence for bigger challenges. Each disciplined choice makes the next one feel natural. Each day of consistent action moves you closer to the life you've always imagined. But here's what's most important. This transformation doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen by accident. It requires a daily commitment to choosing your own path over the path of least resistance. Every morning, you wake up with a decision. You can spend your day seeking approval, comparing yourself to others, talking instead of acting, wasting energy on distractions, and letting doubt hold you back. Or you can focus on yourself, protect your energy, work quietly, and build the discipline for long-term success. Your real change starts now. Here's the reality. The life you want will not happen by accident. No one will hand it to you. It won't appear just because you wished or waited. The life you want comes when you focus on yourself, act quietly, and push through doubt. It comes when you stop asking for permission and start taking action. It's ready for you to claim, but only if you do what most people won't do. The people who achieve extraordinary results are not extraordinary people. They're ordinary people who made an extraordinary commitment to focus on themselves instead of seeking validation from others. They decided to act in silence instead of seeking applause for their intentions. They chose to build discipline instead of hoping motivation would carry them through. They transformed doubt into fuel instead of letting it extinguish their dreams. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start with one habit, one choice, one small action you can repeat every day. Over time, these small actions will build the foundation for bigger changes. Remember, progress is not about perfection, it's about consistency. Every time you follow through, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable of change. That belief is what fuels long-term success. So, don't wait for the right moment. The right moment is now. Take one small step today and then another tomorrow. Soon you'll look back and realize those simple steps reshaped your entire life. If this message encouraged you to take action, support us by giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to Fluent English with Riadio. Our mission is to guide you toward becoming more confident, more focused, and more successful every single day. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss our latest lessons and messages. Remember, you're not on this path alone. At Fluent English with Riadio, we're here to grow with you, step by step. We'll remind you of your strength, celebrate your wins, and help you keep moving forward through challenges. Your next choice can change everything. We're honored to be part of your journey. Until next time, keep practicing, keep believing, and keep building the life you truly want.